Hello gamers, I'm ShadowTheG, and today I'm going to tell you how to swap NPCs and play as NPCs in Absolum. We're going to use a program called Pandora's Box, made by Fuzzy Yet Deadly, which allows you to do all that, and even more of course. So, let's start. I want to swap this Goblin Companion for another character. So let's say I want to swap him for the Goblin with the bombs, or the Shuriken. Yeah, let's go with Shuriken. So what I'm going to do is go to character data in Pandora's Box. Actually, first thing first, you want to open your big file. Big file is in the Absolum folder in your Steam Apps Common folder. You go to data and then you open the big file. Don't mind these are test big files that I made. So you open it. It takes like a second maybe 5 seconds, you know. Alright, then you go to character data. In characters, that's a folder, you can find the playable characters, so of course Carl, Cider, Brome and Galandra. We don't worry about that for now. We're going to go to fighters. Fighters is all the NPCs in the game, the fighting NPCs. So, in the Goblin folder, which is here, you'll find the Goblin Companion. This is the guy we want to replace. This is this guy here. We're going to make a backup of him with duplicate, because it's always good to make a backup. I also recommend that you make a backup of your whole big file, so you can roll back any changes you make that you don't like. And because, you know, also some changes can crash the game. Alright, I made a backup of the Goblin Companion. Now, I'm going to grab the Goblin Shuriken guy, make a duplicate of him, call him backup, and Goblin Shuriken itself, I'm going to rename to Goblin Companion. So to do that, I'm going to copy the name of Goblin Companion, and then I'm going to delete Goblin Companion. I'm going to discard it. Discard? Yes. Yes. It warns you that it can crash the game. That's because if the game tries to load the character that isn't there anymore in the files, it's going to get confused, of course. Now, Goblin Shuriken backup, I'm going to rename boop, to Goblin Companion. Once this is done, I go to here, big file, quick export. This lets me save the changes by overwriting the big file. I am sure. I do that. I close the game. You can do these changes while the game is closed too, it doesn't matter. Then I open the game back up. I like to do it through the folder. This is just how I like to organize stuff. You can do it directly through, you know, the Steam thing, that doesn't matter. Open your save file. And there we go. I can hire the Shuriken Goblin. So he doesn't have a Shuriken in hand, but you know, once you go to a fight, he's going to fight like a normal Shuriken Goblin. Picking them up, spawning them I mean, and then throwing them, and you know, that's fine. But, you know, that's cool and all, but what if I want to get another NPC? Like from another folder, like a very different NPC. That's fine, we're going to do that too. So, just going to close the game. You don't need to, but I like to do it. Here, let's say I want a plant actually. Plant. Let's go to plant. This is plant. I'm going to copy the plant, copy to file, and then I'm going to paste from file. Doesn't matter where you click, this is always going to show up. It's going to tell you, hey, it took this already. Okay, I know. So I'm going to press no to rename it. And in the rename thing, I'm going to change the folder that it's in. I'm going to put it in the Goblin folder. That way, when I press OK, boop, it shows up in the Goblin folder. So I'm going to again make a backup of it. Just, you know, it's better that way. And I'm going to rename it to Goblin Companion. So I need to delete this Goblin Companion again, and then my plant, I rename it to Goblin Companion. I save the big file. I open back the game. I wait a little because, you know, it takes a while to boot up. And then I'm going to have a plant instead of a goblin as a companion. There we go. And you can see it still has the goblin dialogue and the goblin voice. That's only when you hire it. Once it's hired, it's going to add like a plant. But as you can see, if I zoom in, it's going to have a goblin name and you can't really do anything about it. So then you're wondering, well, it's not moving, right? Well, it's trying. You know, it's trying. So this is all well and good, but what if I want to play as an NPC? We're going to do this right now. Let's close the game. I want to play as a bandit. So let's go to the bandit folder and pick bandit. Copy to file. This time we're going to put it in the warriors folder, you know, because we're playing as Galandra. So I'm going to paste it from file, rename it, and here go to 01 playables /warrior, and just leave it named bandit. That's fine. I'm going to make a backup of Galandra because you don't want to lose her, you know. I'm going to take the name of Galandra, which is warrior playable, and I'm going to make also a new version of bandit and rename it as warrior playable. Oh, I can't do that because I forgot to discard this one. You have to discard it. You can't have two files with the same name. So let's do this again. Boom. Quick export. Boom. And load the game up again. Ta-da! I am a bandit. So what can I do with the bandit? Well, nothing actually. I can't attack, I can't even dash, you know? Nothing. I can open my inventory, I guess. So how do I do it? How do I make it so that I can actually attack as the bandit? Well, here's what you're gonna do. You're going to go to, you know, bandit. Actually, you know, it's warrior playable because that's currently the bandit. You're going to go to moves, and you can see a list of all its attacks. These are usually not actual attacks, but you know, if it says cine, it's because it's during cutscenes. It's called cinematic in French. So it's a cutscene move that usually doesn't hit or doesn't act right. So we're going to go to light attack, and here in condition we're going to double click and select press X as a condition. That means that when we press X, light attack, we're going to actually use this light attack. Heavy attack, we're going to do the same, but this time with press Y. And backflip, we're going to pick press B. B is of course the dash and deflect button. Once this is done, we're going to go to big file and quick export. And once this is done, boom, let's launch the game again. So I'm still the bandit, but I can actually attack. And when I press B, oops, sorry, wrong button, whoop, I do a backdash. Alright, let's attack some stuff. What if I attack this stuff? You see, the block animation, that's this hit blocked. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, there you go. This is how you get a character to be playable. There are of course a lot more details I can I can talk about. I wanted to talk more about the conditions and the commands for attacks. So press X is of course, you know, the X button, Y is the Y button, and B is the dash command. If you remap your buttons, of course press X is going to be the button that you mapped light attack to. Then forward dash is not actually a dash, it's your right trigger, it's the right arcana button. Backdash is the left arcana, so the left trigger, and taunt is actually your ultimate, so you know, both triggers together. So yeah, grab front and grab back and stuff like this is, you know, for grabbing enemies. You have to mess around with these. I don't know all of them, so you'll have to mess around with these to see how they work. Then there is commands. So commands is a modifier, if you will, for the condition, and there are a bunch of directions. So hold forward is when you hold forward, tap forward, I don't know if that works. Forward is it overlaps actually with the dash command, so I don't recommend you use it. Hold down is down, down, I don't know if it works, you can try it. Hadoken I don't think works as a command. Up works, and everything else I haven't tried. But that's not just it, there is also a required stance. So these are not actually accurate because they're based on the states in Streets of Rage 4. So air is actually while you're standing, and air vertical is when you're in the air, which means you can map attacks to be usable in the air. I want to talk about links. Links are stuff you can find in a move's data. Here you can see backflip has a link, and the link goes to heavy attack. This means when you do the backflip with the bandit, which is, you know, the guy I'm modifying, sometimes he'll do a heavy attack automatically because it's a link. It links after the backdash. So what if I don't want my backflip to have this, to have the heavy attack follow-up? Then I'm going to actually discard this by pressing delete, you know, sup, and then shift plus delete. And there you go. Now, when I do a backflip with the bandit, I no longer have a chance to do a heavy attack. There you go. A lot of moves used by NPCs have links. So if you don't want your NPC to do like 5 attacks in a row, just go to the move in question and go to links, and you'll find what you need. I think, no, the heavy attack doesn't have one, but the light attack also has a link, but the link here is hits blocked. That's the animation that it's going to do when it hits you know, a wall or something. I don't mind this one, so you can just leave it on. In the comments, just comment about anything, any question you have, and I'll try my best to answer. I also recommend joining the official Discord for Dotemu, because they have an Absolum category, and in there Fuzzy Yet Deadly has a thread about modding. So we can share stuff about modding and answer questions there. I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope it's useful to you, and I'll see you later.